Porsche. Okay then, the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland here at the Norisring in Germany. It's going to be a fantastic race this. The engines fire into life. 485 brake horsepower on these machines. And we have had 7 races in the championship. This is race 8. And after this, we go into the second half of the season, to the Nürburgring, to Hockenheim, and to the Sachsenring, still to come later in the season. There's the grid on the screen, the top 10, as I gave it to you. Jaap van Lagen might be one to watch out for. Look, in the Porsche racing driver, he is going to start 11th on the grid. Luca Rettenbacher will start alongside him 12th on the grid. Then it's Pereira and Besler on row 7. Wagner and Malja, normally higher up, Malja, but he's down on the 8th row. Riesbar and Stefan Rakoff on the 9th row. The 10th row, Alex Arkinaker and Janis Vitscher. And then row 11, Sebastian Daum and Sandro Kaibach. Row 12, Luis Henkefend and Carlos Rivas, who is the AM-Class championship leader, but got involved in a collision yesterday and only managed to finish 3rd within the category. But a couple of grid penalties applied as a result of the collisions that we saw yesterday. So Tony Wolff has had a 10-place grid penalty. That's going to put him to the back of the grid. He should have been 21st on the grid. So Tony Wolff, the number 14 car, back of the grid for a collision yesterday with Nicholas Scholl. And a 5-place grid penalty as well has been applied to Matthias Jesserich for the collision with Carlos Rivas. That puts him to the back of the grid as well. He was near the back of the grid anyway. Look at real concentration there ahead of the race in the crowd. I'm not sure he realised he was on TV then. And the teams now having all the prep work they can. Well, it's down to the drivers now. There's not much more they can do other than cross their fingers and hope it goes according to plan. So the cars then about to line up for the start of race 2 here at the Norisring. This is going to be round 8 of the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland. My name is Chris Hartley. I'm trackside here at the Norisring. The sun has started to break through the clouds, but it's a much cooler day than yesterday. Overnight rain has washed the track clean as well. So this is going to be a bit of an adventure for the drivers to find the grip levels in these first few laps of the race. Green flag is waved then at the back of the grid. Henrik Skoog on pole position for the first time this season to the left of your picture. Larry Ten Voorde, the championship leader, alongside to the right of your picture. Red lights on, revs rise, lights go out, we get underway, and Henrik Skoog makes a very good start from pole position. Ten Voorde, who got a wild ride off the line yesterday, made contact with Ammermüller. He's having to go defensive here again from Velilko and Ammermüller, who's breathing down his neck, but he'll stay second. Ammermüller's going to try and follow him through the inside line, but Velilko keeps it going around the outside, gets close to the wall, but stays in 3rd place. They're all scuffling up behind. Looks like Ammermüller 4th and Lauer 5th as they headed off towards the Scholler S's for the first time in the race. Here they then come, everybody at the front of the order at least, holding position as they come through the S section for the first time in the race. And then it'll be up towards the right-hand kink and then up towards the second of the hairpins where they slow the cars right down through Dussendijk on the gas all the way then to turn 1. Still building speed through the kink, and then they're already on to the start-finish straight to complete lap 1 around the 2.3 kilometres here at the Norisring. Over the line then, Henrik Skoog with a perfect start to the race. 0.6 of a second clear of Ten Voorde. Velilko, Ammermüller and Andlauer follow through. Kohler is in 6th place, and the leading rookie Nicholas Scholl's gained a place up to 7th position. And we've got Andlauer coming under fire from Kohler. Kohler in the blue and black car, trying to get 5th place away from the driver's second in the championship standings, but not yet able to make advantage of that coming out of the turn. Everybody safely through the hairpin. Everybody survived, I think, the first lap of the race. In terms of the AM drivers, it is the championship leader, Carlos Rivas, who's leading the way. He's 18th place overall. Stefan Rakoff right behind him now in 19th position. They're in cars 6 and 33 respectively. So the top 2 in the AM championship running together on track. Through they come to complete another lap very shortly, coming onto the start-finish straight. And Skoog has been caught by Larry Ten Voorde. 2/10 quicker for the driver in 2nd place on that previous lap. So the gap coming down. He's taking Igor Velilko with him. Velilko said to me yesterday he's been working really, really hard on working on his qualifying performance. That he felt was the thing that was letting him down last year. And it paid dividends yesterday. His best qualifying session so far in the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland sets him up nicely for a challenge, maybe a race win, but certainly to go for the podium here. Great shot as they run out of the corner then and get within a metre or so of the wall. Maybe less than that for some of them. One or two cars carrying a bit of bodywork damage, but nothing serious yet. Now, Ten Voorde has caught right up to the tail of Henrik Skoog. They're absolutely together as they make their way through Dunsendijk and through the kink and back onto the straight. The big overtaking opportunity really is into turn one. Hard on the brakes it will be. Down into the braking zone. 0.2 of a second between them as they cross the line. Valilko just with them, trying to get involved if the opportunity arises in third place. They're pulling away now from the two BWT Lechner cars of Ammermüller and Andlauer, and it looks like Andlauer maybe is just being held up a little bit here by Ammermüller, who he beat to the win yesterday. Ammermüller was desperately trying to keep him at bay. But they are losing touch, the 4th, 5th and 6th place cars, with Kohler on the back of that group, the leading rookie. The top three just edging away from them now. So Kohler, number 77, running in 6th place, is the leading rookie. And Jackson Evans, who won the rookie category yesterday in the 93 car, is in 7th, but only a second or so behind him. And Nicholas Scholl down to 8th place now. And Georgi Donchev has got trouble with the car, smoke pouring from it. Now, is that bodywork or is that engine related? The number 7 machine, the Porsche racing car, the number 7 car of Huber Racing, looks like, yes, it's headed for the pits. And I'm not sure it's going to go any further in the race, I'm afraid. So Donchev looks like he's the first retirement from this race. As we see the top three still closed up together. 4th, 5th and 6th, hanging on to them this lap. Ammermüller picking up the pace a little bit. Yes, Ammermüller did a 52.1, so he was a 10th quicker than the top three last time around, who are all doing 52.2s. And Andlauer, just behind him, was even quicker. Ammermüller's the first of the pink Porsches, the white wing mirrors with the blue wing mirrors, the blue and dark pink wing mirrors. It's Andlauer, yesterday's race winner. And those two are contesting the Porsche Super Cup Championship as well. Ammermüller ahead of Andlauer at the top of the standings there. Oh dear, we've had an off for Dylan Pereira. His weekend goes from bad to worse. Spins it around at the hairpin, goes in the wrong direction. Lights at the tyres. Oh no, he got too heavy on the gas. Spins it around again, wastes more time. Second time lucky, gets around. And that was pure frustration, I think. Just slammed on the throttle. And nearly 500 horsepower went into the rear wheels. I think he got a tag there, didn't he? Was that Berkay Besler car that was right behind him? Yes, there was contact. Besler was trying to defend his position, or maybe had just gone up the inside of Rettenbacher in the 92 car. He tagged the back of Pereira. Not heavily, but enough to send him into the spin. Pereira frustrated then. Gets the car around. Oh, we cut away before it happens, but he spun it again as he tried to get on the gas. So it was indeed bodywork rubbing on the wheel that was the cause of the smoke, rather than a more sinister engine problem. And they are going to try and get the number 7 car back out. So Porsche Racing, Huber Racing trying to get Georgi Donchev back out to maybe pick up the odd point here and there. They've had to take the wheel off to access it. Wheels back on. They're making sure there's clearance now between the Michelin tyre and the bodywork. Otherwise, that could cause more problems than a puncture. There's the replay of Donchev as he limped back to the pits. So at least he's given himself a chance of finishing the race. If there are more retirements, he might be able to pick up the odd point here or there. One of the Huber Racing drivers, the Overdrive Racing by Huber team, are the team that had the top three on the grid. They lead the championship standings for the team's title ahead of BWT Lechner Racing. MSG HRT, who run Leon Kohler, who's in 6th place. They are 3rd in the standings. And look, that next 3 cars have caught up the leaders now. So we've got a train of 6 cars going for the lead of the race. And Skoog, last time around, did a 52.005, 51.9 for Ten Voorde, who was quicker. Valilko was almost as quick on a 52.044, but in the high 51s, Ammermüller, Andlauer and Kohler all reeled them in. So here we go, Henrik Skoog with his wing mirrors full now, and this is going to feel like a long, long race for him. Still got 20-odd laps to try and defend this position. He's got a points leader, Larry Ten Voorde, the Dutch driver, hot on his heels here. Not close enough, though, I don't think, to attack into turn 1, because Skoog got a good exit coming out of the final turn. He catches him back up under braking, but by the time he's done that, they're already into the apex. There's no chance to dive down the inside. Rest of the field charge their way through the order. Jaap van Langen made much progress, having started lower down the grid than you'd expect. He was 11th on the grid. He's made some progress. He's up to 8th place. So it's Henrik Skoog in the lead, Larry ten Voorde second, Igor Valilko in third, Mikael Ammermüller fourth, Julian Andlauer in 5th place. You're looking at Stefan Rakoff, who is in the AM class, running in 2nd place. And is 2 positions behind Carlos Rivas in the number 6 car that leads the standings and leads the category. Or maybe not anymore. There's a dive down the inside from Richard Wagner, who equalled his best result of the season with 13th yesterday, gets on the gas, almost loses the back end, loses traction, will come back under fire from Gustav Malja as they head up towards the S's. That's the driver he overtook down the inside. They're still absolutely together, sorry, as they go over the start-finish line. It's going to be the inside line with Gustav Malja in the light blue and orange car, who's locking up the tyres now, throwing it down the inside and gets the place back into turn 1 from Richard Wagner. So those two having a real scrap. Good battle going on for 15th place. And just behind them, in the lime green and grey car, that's Carlos Rivas, number 6, the Luxembourg-based driver who leads the AM class standings. Behind him, you've got the number 23 machine, the blue and grey car of Lucas Henkefeld. And then the one behind Carlos Rivas is the one he's more worried about, the bright orange car of Stefan Rakoff, his rival for the amateur class championship. The rest of the field work their way through. Loads of battles, loads of groups of cars all huddled together in the midfield. Berke Besler on the timing screen, he's shown as dropping down the timing screen. He's gone into the pits, I think. So Berke Besler, who lost the lead of the rookie championship to Jackson Evans yesterday. Looks like he might not be scoring today because Berke has had a really strong season in his first year at Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland. Looks like he might be headed for retirement. He plummets down the order. And to the pit lane he has gone. So Henrik Skoog continues to keep this gap at between 0.2 of a second, half a second at points as well. And they close up to him under braking. Here's a replay of the start. No trouble for the first 3 rows of the grid. Everybody else seemed to get away cleanly as well, and Henrik Skoog didn't have to defend too much into turn 1. It was more about the battle for 2nd place, because as he went through the gears, Larry ten Voorde started to come under attack. There's a big lock-up from Berke Besler, who just flung it up the inside, and I think he made contact with Jean-Baptiste Simonin, didn't he? Yeah, he clipped the back of the 27 car, almost ran then into the silver car of David Koltman, and sent a few other cars out wide. So he picked up damage, and that might well be the reason that he's subsequently gone into the pits. There they are, the Larry ten Voorde fan club here in force. And they're next to the, or joining forces with the Kolke fan club. I saw them yesterday. Disappointed looks on their faces at the end of the race when ten Voorde had his first retirement of the season. But he still leads the championship. Could change. Julian Andlauer is within 25 points of him now, so if he were to win the race and there was a low score or a non-score for ten Voorde, we could see Andlauer moving into the championship lead. But ten Voorde is in a strong 2nd place at the moment, and he's got Andlauer still 3 places behind him, running in 5th position, 2nd of the pink BWT Lechner Porsches. So 2nd and 5th, the top 2 in the championship. Ammermüller, the first of the pink BWT Lechner Porsches, the number 1 car. He is currently 3rd in the standings. And Dylan Pereira, 4th in the standings. We've seen having a bit of a nightmare. In fact, he could lose his 4th place in the championship today to Henrik Skoog, who is 5th, only 7 points behind him, and currently leading the race and on course for the maximum haul of 25 points. Through they come, top 6 glued together. Bit of a gap back then to Jackson Evans in 7th place. He's got Jaap van Langen closing up to him. There's only half a second between those two. Van Langen in the number 9 car in 8th place. 9th place, Jean-Baptiste Simonin, surviving the bump he got at turn 1 at the start of the race from Berke Besler. And right on cue, appears on screen. So we saw that damage which he picked up on the run into turn 1. He continued for a number of laps, but then ultimately has had to pit the car, and it looks like he's had to get out of the car and retire it. So Berke Besler out of the race. It's only his 2nd retirement of the season, and he's going to lose further points, it seems, to Jackson Evans at the top of the rookie standings. Leon Kohler is 3rd in the rookie standings and only 10.5 points behind him. And Kohler, he's on for a top score, a maximum score in the category at the moment. So likelihood is that Kohler's going to move ahead of Besler to second place at least in the points as well. So the overdrive racing by Huber team watch on, and there is a challenge, or half a challenge, from Kohler there on Andlauer. Just showed his nose in the battle for 5th place. The blue and grey and white car trying to find a way past, thinking about it, putting the pressure on really for the first time in the race, but Julian Andlauer, as the driver that, as I say, is currently second in the Porsche Super Cup, 4th in the Porsche Super Cup in his debut season last year, and a former French Porsche Carrera Cup champion. Even though he's only 19 years of age, Andlauer knows how to handle these cars. He positioned them in the right place. Kohler doing a good job. He's also only 19 years of age. First season in Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland, but he has raced Porsches in 2018 in the Middle East in the GT3 Cup Challenge, former F4 racer as well. And there's the number 8 car as we watch Gustav Mahler, who was having a good battle earlier on for 15th place with Richard Wagner. He's fallen behind him. Wagner in 14th, 15th place for him, and that is a puncture on the front right for the number 7 car of Georgi Donchev. So he's gone back out and he's got more problems now, and I'm sure it's related to the bodywork issue that he had that brought him into the pits in the first place. So they tried their best, got the sledgehammer out, tried their best to get the wheel arch big enough somehow to avoid rubbing on the tyre. And it was the rear corner, so it was the same parts of the car that was causing him trouble in the first place. There's obviously still been contact between bodywork and tyre, and the Michelin has shredded as a result of that. So Donchev back in, and look at the first two as they come into the hairpin. That was a real look of intent, wasn't it, from Larry ten Voorde in the number 13 car. As we go into the second half of the race, he's just starting maybe to lose a bit of patience and wanting to get ahead. He's not really come under fire from Vililko, because these three are all teammates. They've got to be a little bit careful. The next two are teammates as well. They've lost a little bit of ground, haven't they? 4th, 5th and 6th. The top three have edged away from them again when we did have all 6 of them running together. And that's because the front group have picked up their pace. They're back into the high 51s now. Very good lap from ten Voorde last time around with a 51.607. And ten Voorde is starting to look a little bit menacing in the mirrors. He's starting the body language of the car to find, or try to find, gaps. He's looking to the left, he's looking to the right, he's being a menace in the mirrors, and he's starting to ramp up the pressure here. Ammermüller in 4th place goes a bit deep on the brakes into the hairpin, but he survives on the way out of the turn. He was very, very late on the brakes there and almost outbraked himself and gave a sniff of an opportunity to Andlauer to get through, but it wasn't to be. And he remains in 4th place. But again, that loses ground, and I wonder if Andlauer will start to get frustrated by this, because Ammermüller has just lost a bit of pace compared to the first three, and the longer he sits behind him, the more he can see the top three getting away. And he's going a bit defensive now, isn't he? Locking up again there into Dutzendijk hairpin is the 4th place car of number 1, Michael Ammermüller. So Andlauer, I think, will be keen to get past at some stage, because he looks the quicker of the two as it stands. In the background, Jackson Evans is still keeping Jaap van Lagen at bay. It's no mean feat, is it? The Australian Porsche Carrera Cup champion of last year, the New Zealander, keeping behind him someone with a decade or more of experience driving these cars. And 4th and 5th get together, and through at last goes, in fact, I wonder if he was let through there by Ammermüller, because Andlauer, well, he didn't fight it too hard. You could see he was going for the move. He went up the inside, but Ammermüller saw it coming and gave him plenty of room. So Andlauer up to 4th, being released, I reckon, to go after these top three. Ammermüller was able to shut the door in time, though, to avoid losing another place, and Kohler is still sat behind him. And look at this. Ten Voorde is all over the back of the race leader, Henrik Skoog here. Vililko is just sitting at sort of arm's distance here, just in case something goes on ahead of him and he can nick through and pick up an advantage. Here's a replay of the move then. So he showed his nose. It was pretty tight, but Ammermüller saw it coming, gave him the room, didn't close the door, maybe realising that Andlauer is the quicker of the two. And look, Andlauer has rocketed away from him. That said, they're teammates, but Ammermüller wants to try and beat Andlauer to this title, as well as to the Porsche Super Cup Championship this year. Which Carrera Cup Deutschland, something that's never quite fallen in the lap of Ammermüller, despite his international success. Kohler continuing to impress. He's got 19-year-olds either side of him, Michael Ammermüller. One in front of him now and one just behind him with Kohler. And Indeed, Andlauer has taken about 2 laps to catch up to the top 3. He's going to be with them by the end of this lap, I reckon. It's going to be 4 for the lead of the race. He's flying. He's going to be a quick lap from Andlauer. 51.6s. They're getting quicker and quicker in this race, the top 3, but a 51.5 for the race leader here. Well, our special guest this weekend is Prince Albert of Monaco. He's here for the DTM weekend. Next to Gerhard Berger as well, so being shown around the paddock ahead of the race this afternoon. Big motorsports fan, of course, and a big fan of street racing, as you can imagine. Right, top 3 coming through, and Skoog has opened up a little bit of a gap suddenly over Ten Voorde. So did Ten Voorde show his nose? Did he make a mistake? He's coming back on the brakes, very late on the brakes, up into the hairpin in the 13 car. Part defending the inside line, but Part just trying to catch back up to Henrik Skoog. We've got a real race on our hands here for the final 10 laps or so here at the Norisring. 4 of them for the lead of the race. Henrik Skoog desperately trying to hang on to this. He hasn't put a wheel wrong so far, and Velilko's trying to show his nose as well now. He's trying to attack and defend because you've got Andlauer. Oh no, the contact between the top 3 all hit each other. Into Skoog goes Ten Voorde. Velilko went into the pair of them, triggered it off, and it's going to be Andlauer that picks up the lead of the race. Unbelievable. The 3 teammates, the top 3 of the race, all out, or at least down the order, and having had no retirements this year. It could be a second retirement of the one weekend for Larry Ten Voorde, but what heartbreak for Henrik Skoog. He's still strapped there on the outside of the circuit in the number 20 car, and he was nothing to do with that. Unbelievable, absolute joy after qualifying yesterday. Christoph Huber's going to have words to say here. Let's get a replay. So Velilko was trying to defend from Andlauer. He tagged the back of Ten Voorde. That then tagged Ten Voorde into the race leader, Henrik Skoog. It was a lock-up from Ten Voorde, who was hugging the inside line. And I think the contact was as they braked, rather than because of the lockup. Yeah, there's the lockup. There's the lockup from Velilko, and there's the contact, and it all triggered into one another. Unreal. Unreal. The top 3 out of the top 3, and then some. It's gone from absolute perfection to absolute nightmare for the team. The worst possible scenario. Well, Igor Velilko limps back to the pits. Henrik Skoog, I think the radiator had gone. There was a lot of fluid on the circuit. And it was actually Ammermüller that picked up the lead. I thought Andlauer, who was closest to it, had done it. But I think he did initially get through. But I think then Ammermüller must have got the better run out of the corner. Well, obviously, we were concentrated on what happened dramatically between those top 3. Velilko back in. Ten Voorde's already back in and headed hands, as you saw, and Skoog's, I think, still stuck out on the track somewhere. So Ammermüller leads. Kohler's up to 2nd place. Andlauer didn't benefit from that at all, really. He's 3rd. Evans 4th. Ten Voorde, who you can see there, arm around him from his engineer, but he is livid, absolutely livid. It is not going to be a comfortable evening in the team tent, is it, when they all get back there? I think they probably all need a bit of time to cool off. But they were running so close. It only takes one slight error, one slight bit of outbraking, doesn't it? And it can happen like that so easily. Just snapped away from them. That's going to be heavy to take, really heavy to take. No points again for Larry Ten Voorde. Could have been a great weekend for this for him. Could have had at least 2 podium finishes here. Here's the moment. Well, the lockups were for both cars. Ten Voorde certainly locked up. Velilko locked up. I think he was trying to avoid Ten Voorde, but as they both locked up, one went into the back of the other, and they both went into the back of Skoog, who just can't believe it, can he? From first to nothing, and Henrik Skoog, who had a chance of a first win, ripped away from him there. This was as Ten Voorde got out of the car. And you don't need to be able to see his face to see how angry he is about all of this. It's hard to apportion blame to one particular driver there because they were all racing so hard. Safety car out because of the incidents that we've all been talking about. Henrik Skog's car presumably to be moved to a safer point, and a lot of debris, and there's some fluid down there at the first turn as well. But yeah, it's hard to apportion blame there because they were all locking up, weren't they? Certainly Ten Voorde had a lock up at the same time, almost exactly the same time, because it was right with him. It was Vililko. They were both hugging the inside line because Andlau was trying to come around the outside of them. So green flag waved, we get back underway, and this has fallen, absolutely fallen, into the lap of Mikael Ammermüller, who could, if it stays like this, be on course for his second win of the season. Second place is the leading rookie Kohler, third is Andlauer, and Van Lagen nips up the inside of the hairpin to get fourth place then, away from Jackson Evans, so he gets through, and Evans now demoted to fifth place. So there he is, Jaap Van Lagen charging through the field in 11th place. Rettenbacher going wheel to wheel with Simonauer, and they are battling at the tail end of the top six. They're still wheel to wheel as they come out of the turn. Look, and look at this, side by side, who's going to get the better line for the next turn? It's all tied up front as well. Lockup's going ahead, and Simonauer's going to lose the place here. So Luca Rettenbacher gets up to sixth place. Good move, which started 2 corners previously. Ammermüller's got to make the most of this opportunity then. This is a bonus win if he gets it, because he wasn't even looking like he was going to finish on the podium in that race until it all kicked off. Now he might win it. Kohler in second place. Can he get his first win in the Porsche Carrera Cup at Deutschland? Impressive this year. He's certainly on course for his first podium of the season. He's there in second place. Third place for Andlauer. Oh, dramas. And that is from our AM class. Looks like Stefan Rakoff. And yes, Carlos Rivas, the top 2 in the AM Championship, have come together, not for the first time. And, oh dear, they get going again, but of course they'll have tumbled down the order. So it probably is going to be Jeserik who picks up the AM class lead. Oh, Stefan Rakoff, a long way back, under-braking, just tagged into the back of Carlos Rivas. Almost took out Lucas Oertel as well. And the white car on the outside, the 17 machine. In fact, there was contact between them, but Oertel stood strong. Most of the speed had been knocked off by then. But Rakoff out-braking himself a long way back. There's Christoph Huber, who's had the mother of all nightmares with his top 3 all crashing into each other. What are we going to do about this? Bit of personnel management skills required when he gets back, that's for sure. So there's the damaged Stefan Rakoff car. Coming together between those two at the last round at the Red Bull Ring as well. Stays out though, so I'm not sure he looks as quick as he should be though, Stefan Rakoff. So indeed, number 10 moving into the class lead is Matthias Jeserik, who started right at the back of the field with his penalty for the incident yesterday. So he's in 18th place, and second in the AM class is now going to go the way of number 66, which is Andreas Szypanski, the German driver. Right, top 3 together, and contact between the top 2. Light contact, but coming out of the corner, Kohler just nipped the back of Ammermüller. And that suspension has broken, hasn't it, on Stefan Rakoff's car. He stayed out, but look at the front right wheel. It's wobbling around a fair bit and looking at an odd angle as he came through the corner. So I think that one's headed back for the pits. Rakoff gets out of the way. The leaders come through to lap the stricken number 33 car. Ammermüller, Kohler, Andlau the top 3. Van Lagen in 4th place. Evans in 5th. 6th place for the number 5 car. David Coltman, yeah, there you go. Completely broken, that suspension. He'll do well to get it back to the pits. Have to be careful not to spew into the direction of anybody that's lapping him. So through come the top 6. Coltman on the back of that group now in the number 5 car, the dark blue and black machine, one of the Black Falcon cars. There he is. On the brakes they come then, and Andlauer quick on the brakes again. Outbrakes himself, has to cover off the line before the orange and blue car of Van Lagen nips ahead into the final few laps of the race now. Lap 29 of 31 this is. And Van Lagen trying to get himself up onto the podium, which will be a fine effort given where he started. He's only had 1 podium this season. Super Cup campaign's going well. Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland campaign not so well. Just the 1 second place finishes in the first weekend of the season at Hockenheim. Can he find a way past Andlauer to get through? Andlauer is not quite in a position to pick up the championship lead yet. If he can finish in 2nd place, he'll do enough to nab the points from Larry ten Voorde. But I think Larry, as it stands, as we go to the final lap of the race, might just cling on to the championship lead. Through they come then. Mikael Ammermüller onto the last lap of the race, ahead of Kohler, Andlauer, Van Lagen, Evans and Coltman, all in that lead group of 6. S-bend section, the Scholler S's should be no way through there, although we saw Jackson Evans giving it a good go yesterday. So really one more overtaking opportunity through the last turn. We have seen last lap, last corner overtakes in Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland this weekend, amongst other categories, so it is possible. But Ammermüller looks like he's standing strong here. Andlauer has a little look at the inside of Kohler, locks up. Van Lagen might get the better run out of the corner as he tries to get himself into 3rd place on the run to the checkered flag. There then is the checkered flag. It is being readied, and for the 2nd time this season, Mikael Ammermüller wins the race. He's victorious here at the Norisring. Terrific 2nd place finish for the rookie class winner then, Leon Kohler. Excellent drive by him. It's been very good all weekend long. So his first podium in Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland for 2nd place. And Julian Andlauer, 3rd place. Normally, he wouldn't be overly delighted with 3rd place, but given the context of where that 3rd place has come from and the rivals that dropped out, took each other out to get him there, he'll be satisfied. And he is right up there on the points, top of the points table now, battling with Larry ten Voorde. So Ammermüller, Kohler and Andlauer the top 3. Van Lagen in 4th place, a good drive through from outside the top 10 on the grid. Jackson Evans, another class podium, the rookie driver in 5th place overall. 6th place then goes to David Coltman, and that's his best result in the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland. 7th place, Luca Rattenbacher. 8th place, Jean-Baptiste Semenauer. His best weekend overall so far in the season. 9th place, then going to the number 44 car of Sandro Kajbek, and rounding out the top 10 was the 3rd highest placed rookie, Nicholas Scholl. So well done to Nicholas. Struggled, bad day yesterday, got hit and took out of the race, but that's his best finish so far in the campaign. 10th place, bettering his 11th place finish from Hockenheim, and 3rd best rookie for Nicholas Scholl. 4th best rookie, 11th place, then goes to the number 23 car of Lewis Henkefend. Richard Wagner gets his best result of the season in 12th, his best weekend of the season that. 13th yesterday, 12th today for Wagner, number 87 in 12th place. Tim Zimmermann was 13th, Gustav Malja in 14th, and 15th place went to Janis Vicia. In terms of the AMs, Matthias Jeserik, the AM class winner in 19th place overall, 2nd in the category. And onto the AM class podium, Andreas Szypanski. But your winner overall, Mikael Ammermüller for BWT Lechner Racing. The team have had 2 wins this weekend. Julian Andlauer yesterday, Ammermüller today. Had a 1-2 finish yesterday, had a 1-3 finish today. And life doesn't get much better. Dramatic race here then at the Norisring. And how big an impact will that have on the championship campaign? Because the weekend and the 2 DNFs, 0 points for Larry ten Voorde, had brought Julian Andlauer right back into play, and so too Mikael Ammermüller. Not a great weekend for Dylan Pereira either. So those two have had nightmares, but the 2 BWT Lechner teammates have had very, very strong results and weekend. So it completely now bunches the championship table up as we go into the 2nd half of the season. Walter Lechner with a wry smile on his face. He's seen most things in motorsport. I'm not sure he will have ever seen what happened to his rival team, though. You've seen teammates taking each other out plenty of times in racing, but not normally 3 of them. So, coming round it all, parting of the waves to pick up his 2nd win of the season, Mikael Ammermüller. He had to work hard to defend, though, didn't he, from Kohler for the remainder of that race, and Kohler, in turn, had to work hard to fend off Andlauer. The checkered flag waved. And Mikael Ammermüller, who's had his own problems this year at the start of the season in the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland, will take that. Strong driver. Normally a very, very reliable driver as well. Tends to stay out of trouble, uses his experience, and must have had to use his reactions there to get around all the drama that was happening. So there, confirmation of the results. Mikael Ammermüller, after 31 laps, winning by just 0.3 of a second. Leon Kohler gets his first podium and his best result so far in 2nd place. Julian Andlauer closes in on the championship leader. 3rd place, Jaap van Lagen. Jackson Evans and David Cotman rounding out the top 6. There then are the rest of the results. Tony Wolff made up some progress from the back of the field to 16th place. And there, poor old Dylan Pereira, nightmare weekend for him as well, down in 18th place overall. Carlos Rivas has been on the rough end of the stick a few times as well, hasn't he? But he still managed to get 3rd in class, as he did yesterday, despite contact out on the track. So he survived, he got to the end of the race and finished 3rd in the AM class to pick up more points again than Stefan Rakoff, who was the driver that stormed down the inside of him and tagged him quite heavily going into the hairpin, as we saw. So there'll be a little bit of clear-up operation to go. Lots of debris out of the circuit. That's why the safety car was brought out, and stricken cars to be brought back, particularly the car of Henrik Skog. You have to feel very, very sorry for there. He didn't do a great deal wrong, did he, in that race? Never really got away from them, but he certainly kept the car in the right place, didn't leave the door open. It was coming under more and more pressure. And it was really the move from Andlauer when there's Leon Kohler. Terrific drive. He's one to watch, I reckon. He's in the talent pool already from Porsche, which is for under 23-year-olds. Here we go. So Skog was actually quite a long way clear, wasn't he? Then the lock-up. It wasn't exclusively because Velilko tagged him that Ten Voorde went into the back of Skog, because he braked very late as well. They both really outbraked themselves. Off they went. Andlauer had to go wide, got delayed by it, didn't he? Look how far Ammermüller is back. Just as well, really, in the number 1 car. So top 3 all hit each other. Andlauer has to go wide to avoid everything. And I think Ammermüller will probably, maybe in the background of the picture, see nipping up the inside now to go from 5th to 1st. But it was really the move from Andlauer on Ammermüller that triggered that, because Andlauer flew after the top 3 and started to apply the pressure. And they got a bit wound up by that, I think, and got a bit itchy-footed. There is Andlauer to the left of your picture, Ammermüller in the centre of your picture, and Kohler to the right of your picture. They're about to head up onto the podium. You saw the reaction there, the gut-wrenching reaction of the team that lost out on a potential 1-2-3 finish. Not a good day for overdrive racing by Huber, but a very, very good day for these 3 drivers, especially for the BWT Lechner team. And also on the podium, Leon Kohler, the MSG HRT Motorsport team, who are running in the top 3 in the championship. Winners' national anthem now. Top 3 drivers are joined by Franz Meyer, who will pick up the team's award. There he is, looking very chirpy on the right-hand side of your picture. Franz Meyer, engineer for the BWT Lechner Racing squad. Carsten Sons from Porsche Deutschland presents the winner's trophy to Michael Ammermüller. Has he ever gone from 5th to 1st in one corner before? Maybe not. Our 2nd place trophy, all smiles, goes to Leon Kohler. Wolfgang Schlosser from the local motorsport club here at Nürburgring, handing over the 2nd place trophy. Corey Isaac from Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland presenting our 3rd place trophy. Juliana Andlauer, probably just about as pleased as you can get with the 3rd place finish as a regular race winner. And for the winning team, Carsten Sons then presents the trophy. It's BWT Lechner that get it. And it's Franz Meyer that has the job of holding the trophy aloft. Now joining the top 3 drivers on the top step of the podium. Well, there's been a lot of talking points this weekend. Yesterday, one of them involved Andlauer and Ten Voorde. And today, Ten Voorde is at the thick of it again. I told you, it's the poor old engineer that always gets it when the champagne is unleashed by the drivers. You never get anything to fight back with, that's the problem. The drivers get the champers, the team bot, he's got one now, but it's too late, he's soaked. So he's defenceless really up there. I don't suppose he cares, though. I'm sure he's... I wonder if there's a short straw lot to get the decision to who goes on the podium with the drivers. Who wants to get wet today, then? Go on, Franz, you can have a go today. Oh, dear. Off to the wash tomorrow for the clothes. So, terrific result for Ammermüller, Kohler and Andlauer, who now look set for a very strong second half of the season here after a strong weekend at the Norisring and surprise results. Lots of talking points, but the talking point of the weekend, of course, was what you saw 2/3 of the way through the race there, with the top three, all teammates, all hitting each other and taking each other out. So we'll get some highlights now to round out what's been a fantastic weekend here at the Norisring. Plenty to talk about, plenty more action to come in the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland 2019. My name's Chris Hartley. Hope you've enjoyed watching. Bye for now.